I was not planning on making this video, but something kept on pushing me and and bothering me until now. Here we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and talk about this. Why you need God to make it. This might be a very extremely important video because this, like literally, your life, success in your life depends on what I'm gonna be talking about here. Pay close attention. Previously, what you're seeing here is not from previous, lecture whereby I was talking about what is inflation, what causes it, and how to trade inflation. And there's more to it that I did not cover in the last episode, especially inflation, because that leads to a question like what is money, who created money, and for what purpose, and who prints money, who literally puts those digits into into action, and we as human beings bear the consequences or the burden of debt and so on. So I'm not going to talk about that right now, but I want to talk about reasons why I need God to make it. Let me begin this by saying this. Maybe some of you don't believe in God. Maybe some of you don't your faith in God like is not really that that intact and so on. But I just want you to have like an open mind on this. I'm not here to preach to you but I just want you to listen to me. It will cost you nothing, completely nothing. Okay. Now, we live in a world whereby it's being controlled by a lot of evil. I've had people complaining that if God is so merciful, then why do we have children dying maybe in Gaza and so on? And I want to say something about this. When God created the universe, he created what we call universal laws. The universal laws are, for example, the law of gravity, whereby when you throw something, it has to land somewhere. The law of cause and effect. We have law like cause of effect, or cause and effect simply is that whatever action you put out there definitely is gonna lead to an effect, and it's gonna come back to you. We have, some people call it karma, and so on. So these laws, that's why you hear people say that the word of God shall not return back null and void, because God's word is final. That's why it makes so much sense why at some point a sacrifice had to be made, because when God said that if you sin, definitely there's going to be suffering, there's going to be consequences, there's going to be death. So he could not just say and wake up one day and say, you know what, okay, I take back my word. That's not how God works. His word is final. So what he can always do is give us alternative of salvation. Like right now we have now Christ, as an alternative, whereby whoever turns to Christ, they are acquitted in salvation. But let us go to the point, right? So you understand that law of the universe, okay? So when people are killing, and harming others in war, and bad things happening, if we decide to blame God on that, the first question comes: is God the one who making these people suffer? No, is we human beings harming others. So we human beings are causing the effect that we're seeing literally. And God says, fine, at the end of the day, everybody is going to pay for their sins. Everybody is going to pay for their mistakes. But that does not mean that God is now going to come and now start meddling in the issues of human beings after telling human beings over and over and over and over again, this is how to live. Love your neighbor. Treat them well. Be a straightforward person. Don't don't lie to people. Don't mistreat others. God has been telling this all over. Jesus came and preached all over again. Then we human beings end up, with our own hatred and our own arrogance, go on and harm others. Then after others are harmed, we start complaining to the same God. God, why are you not protecting this? Let me ask you a very simple question. If you take a knife right now, sorry, I don't like that. Let me give you a good example. If you take your finger right now and hit it on a wall right now, are you gonna feel pain? Yes. Now, are you gonna start asking God, God, why didn't you protect me from hitting the like my finger on the wall? Just the logic of it. Just think with me, guys. I take side with those who are suffering, in Gaza and the rest. Yes, I feel the pain, yes. But we can't blame this on God. We human beings are causing this, and no, there's nobody whose hand is clean. If we want to crucify, for example, Israel, then let's ensure that our hands are completely clean. Completely clean simply means that you have never sinned before. Remember, there was a story in the Bible whereby some people wanted to, stone a woman because she was involved in adultery. Then Jesus, just read down, if any of you has never committed sin in their life, be the first person to cast a stone. Nobody did that. Because you and I both know that we have our own evil ways. We know that evil ways simply means that even thinking, just talk about even thinking, seeing a woman and lustfully looking at her sexually, that's already a sin. And before God, there's no bigger sin and small sin. If you're a murderer, you are an adulterer, like sin is sin before God. That's why I say it was so hard for human beings to be close to God. And that's why Christ had to do what he had to do. Now, let's get back to this. Reasons why I need God to make it. We live in a world whereby there's a dark force who is controlling things, and unfortunately, majority of the things that we are doing right now is being controlled by that dark force. You might not understand me yet, but shortly you will. Do you think this technology that we human beings enjoy is literally just from us, we human beings, God intended us, to have this kind of technology and so on? If any of you have ever read the book of Enoch, which is not in the Bible, it was removed in the Bible, talks about, and the fallen angels who are teaching daughters and sons of men's ways of witchcraft, ways of weapons, ways of technology and so on. And until today, they still do. Those things you people call aliens, those are just demons. Those are just those are still kids of the fallen angels. And these people understand technology more than we do. That's why you see the UFOs, the unidentified flying objects, whenever they surpass, the military jets and so on, they surpass them like boom, it's nothing. And still, in the all, planet, people wondering like, what type of technology is this? How comes these people are so powerful that they could, like I'm talking about military grade planes here. We're talking about military jets. Go take a look at the documentaries that are all over internet. See what those naval officers are talking about. Something all over, came and passed them at a top speed, like they were just, sitting somewhere. And these are our most advanced jets on this earth. This tells us something. We think we know, but we do not know. So this technology that we feed on, we think that, right now, humanity, we understand. Guys, I'm telling you, the authors of this technology, I highly suspect these aliens are involved. And these aliens are just demons. It's not that demons are different. They have different, capabilities and so on. So now, having understand that we live in a world whereby it's being controlled by evil. Because, guys, let me think with me for a second. We can literally make the world a better place. If we decide right now, all nations come together and say, you know what, we want to make the world a better place. No more hunger, no more poverty, no more diseases, no more suffering. It is just a matter of a blink of an eye that we all agree we could make this happen. Because we talk about money. What is money? Money is made. Money is somebody's idea. Money is somebody's idea. And it's working. Meaning that we can control poverty. We say, okay, people are literally living, dying of hunger right now as we speak. Do you think in this old planet we cannot farm enough food to feed everybody? Come on, like doesn't really make sense. And this is what I'm literally driving at. Because if we decide we're solving this problem once and for all, it's easy. But unfortunately, we human beings, the way we have our greed and our negative side of things, we get angry, we get mad. We have emotional side of things. So, for example, if I say today we're gonna get peace and so on, somebody will want to have ego, so they want to be superior than another nation. So, what do? They start developing, those weapons and so on. But above all, there's somebody who's going to orchestrate that and put us into that situation. If you take a look at the global affairs right now, the entire world is in debt. Politicians are different from leaders. You see, some of these people you people to call leaders are not real leaders. A leader is somebody who's willing to suffer and offer service. A politician is someone who is willing to protect their personal interest and ensuring that they stay in power as much as they can. Leaders are people when you have calamities, when you have disasters, they volunteer personally to be on the front line to bring solution to that. But you see, it is opposite with these politicians. Whenever there's a problem, the first thing they do is secure, their families, and secure, the best for themselves and their families. But that's not really who a leader is. A leader is supposed to be the least. Now, the reasons why you need God: this system is designed to make you fail. It is designed to make you a slave. A slave in this manner, there's somebody out there who's controlling finances in the global sector. Is hidden. You people think it is the federal government, but literally, we're talking about some serious hidden, dark powers, and they're controlling finances, and they're the one who are also giving money in terms of, let's say, you need a loan or maybe you need a debt as a country, they give you, then the interest rate, yeah, they're the same people who keep the interest rate, and then you see, like they are the guys who make all these things happen. Okay, so apart from that, if you take a look at the institutions, for example, let's take a look at our agricultural system. The agricultural system all over the world has been always been tampered with. Like, you see right now we have GMOs, you have the hybrid and genetically modified, plants that we're eating. This is not how it was intended to be. And you see, these seeds that they give us, or for example, these crops, they're seedless, meaning that they are depriving humankind the ability to reproduce food or to produce food. Because if you start selling, for example, fruits which don't have seeds, meaning that anybody with that food cannot go and plant it. So they are creating a supply chain that is completely for them to control. And soon you'll hear the government say, like, you know what, you cannot plant this type of seed, you cannot keep this type of animal, and so on. They want to ensure that you are completely compliant to the system. And this is why you need God. Okay? Because they're trying to take control over everything, over finances, over food, over land, everything. Okay? Now, let us take a look. When it comes to trading, sometimes people call these things manipulation, and so on. Yes, manipulations do happen in this market. But let me ask you, who do you think usually do manipulate? Because how comes, just listen with me for a second, how comes over 90% of traders lose money and nobody dare make money? Actually, I think it is maybe 95%. How comes? Think with me for a second. There's something so intelligent somewhere who knows how to play this game, and they usually go for those vulnerable traders, those who fund 150,000, sorry, $100, $1,000, $2,000, 3,000. Those middle class type of people, those low class, those are the like, because they're the majority. Those are the most targeted people. So they end up, let me ask you, what if, for example, you decided to buy, maybe to sell gold here? For example, me yesterday, I was planning on selling gold from around here, but it went up there, stopping me out, then start coming down, right? Let me ask you a very simple question. This is manipulation. What do you think was the intention of this? Majority of traders, if this happened, they'll be in depression. If they lose everything they had, will they be in depression? They'll be suicidal. And that's exactly what the enemy wants. That's why I'm telling you guys, you need God. The enemy wants you to fail in this game. It is meant for you to fail if you don't turn to God. Let us take a look at, for example, Proverbs 13:18. And remember, guys, the Bible is one of the most, I don't know how I can describe that book. There's no powerful book that I've ever read in the world more than the Bible. I've read a lot of books. I've read Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. I've read You're Born Rich, Bob Proctor. I've read It Works. I've read a lot of books of great authors all over the world, but none comes close to the Bible. Let's take a look. For example, if this doesn't really relate to the trading, most of you see that, I know the Bible, but you don't understand you've read, but you don't even understand what it says. Let's take a look at Proverbs 13 verse 18 says, "Whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame, but whoever heeds correction is honored." Guys, every day I read this. Every day I read this. Whoever disregards discipline comes to poverty and shame. This was written by King Solomon thousands and thousands of years ago. Then, doesn't this affect your trading life right now? If you disregard discipline in your trading, you're going to lose money. When you lose money, what happens? Poverty and shame. But when you heed correction, you're going to be honored. Discipline. So what gives people wealth? It is discipline. Take a moment and look at the people in the ghetto. See how indisciplined they are. Take a look at the rich or wealthy neighborhoods. Take a look at how disciplined they are. You know this is true. Let us take a look again at Proverbs 13, verse 11. It says, whoever gathers money little by little makes it grow, but dishonest money dwindles away. Gathering money little by little is talking about consistency. This is trading, guys. I don't know how much I need to, to make you guys understand this. They're talking about consistency. Gather your profit little by little. You'll make it grow. But dishonest money literally means greed. It will dwindle away. How many of you have gone into trading and full potted greed and it went away, it dwindled away? This has happened to you. How many of you? Then you want to tell me that the Bible is a lie? You want to tell me that the Bible is just a storybook? There's so thousands and thousands of such examples whereby this Bible literally it is a manual book for us to be able to do things in the right manner. You see, for example, the creator or God as the creator created a manual for his creation. For example, right now, if you decide to, manufacture cars or create cars, okay, you're gonna have a manual book for that car for the buyer or whoever is gonna buy that item to to follow through. So in case this car is having a breakdown or an issue, they can go back to the manual and read. Okay, if you have this problem, bring it to the garage. Or if you have this problem, you can unplug the sparks and switch a new one and so on. There's always a manual. But how about humanity? We have a manufacturer also. God is a manufacturer. He created us. He knows in and out that we will need a manual intervention, and He gave us the Bible. But what do? We think of it just like a mystic book, and that ignorance, because God says that my people are suffering because of ignorance, lack of wisdom. Because if only we knew who is controlling things here on this earth and the avenues that they're using to control, definitely we are gonna be way better. How many times have you had traders, for example, if you go online, traders telling you that God made them profitable? Let's start with the ICT himself. How many times has ICT even cried in public saying that Jesus Christ himself gave him the ICT concept that most of us do enjoy and use? I've seen a couple of traders, leave alone ICT, talking about how God and reading the Bible made them profitable. Then some of you are out here want to say like, the Bible is just a storybook and so on. Guys, ignorance is the source of suffering. You're suffering because of your ignorance. Ignorance means that there's something you need to know, but you're not paying. You're just ignoring it. God says that my people are suffering because of lack of wisdom. The reasons why you need God to make it in this game is because everything has been planned by the enemy against you. Your level of success is like it's not even there. The enemy is taking control of every asset possible. He puts us into debt, puts us into depression, because now when you're depression, we are gonna be depressed, and now we're gonna be okay, anybody who can help me, anywhere I can get money. You start becoming a slave, and that's what the enemy wants. But now when you trade with God and okay, you say, okay, I'm gonna be disciplined. If this trade loses, I'm gonna be disciplined. I'm not gonna go to poverty and shame because of my indiscipline, because this indiscipline is a trap. The enemy is trapping you so that you lose money there, so that you start going to into depression and anger. When you start chasing money, it will dwindle away. It will dwindle away. So instead of doing it on your own, why not try God's way? You've been doing it on your own for the longest. Just try for a moment. Read the Proverbs itself. Just start with the Proverbs. It's a book of wisdom. Read it. And the guy is telling me if your trading is gonna be the same anymore. It will never be the same. So the reason why I need God in this game, because everything, literally, guys, everything is designed against us. Every single thing, trust me. Every single thing. So what is our hope? Our hope is only in God. Because the enemy wants to make us slaves so that he takes us along with him. But you see, I won't even mind if this video doesn't reach a lot of people, but I pray to God that this video reaches the right people that it needs to reach out. Because I was not feeling like doing this, but I'm like, okay, these stop losses that we get sometimes before price drop into our direction, what do they mean? These things are trying to set us up into our emotions and so on. So we have to be aware of them. So this was it. My name is Rocky Calvin, and see you in the next one. Make sure to like and subscribe, and bye for now.